Menace, Dennis Bermudez. Do I game? It's born to game. Yes, I game. My gamer tag is Menace145. I am the Menace. I fight at 145 pounds. I'm a featherweight in the UFC. I figured, you know, I am the Menace. It's a cool name. You know, I'm about to destroy some people. 145 is the weight class I fight at. So if you're a featherweight, you fight at 145 pounds. I started gaming. The reason I could pick up a controller, I think. You know, I used to play Nintendo back in the day. I had Sega. Not Sega Dreamcast, I didn't get that one. Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One. Right now I'm on PS4. Yeah, I use G Fuel when I game a little bit. Just gives me a little extra, you know, a little something, you know. And in between, like, when I get killed when I play Call of Duty, it just gives me something to do while I'm like thinking about the kill. Like I'm watching the kill cam, like, yeah, I'm coming. Right now I started playing The Division. That's a pretty fun game. I mean, if we're gonna talk about classics, Fighting Force is one that not too many people know for PlayStation 1. That's a very, I would like if they remade that one for a new system. You know, I was into Street Fighter a little bit. Tekken, it was my #1 fighting game. Like racing games, Need for Speed and Gran Turismo all day long. I know when they first came out with the first UFC game, it just looked very slow, and I like Tekken. Like I like the match buttons and like, you know, feel the combo, not necessarily like punch. You know, the new UFC 2 on EA Sports, and I heard I'm a problem on there. So if you want some, or if you want to win, use the Menace, alright? So I will, the UFC is sending me that game, so when it comes I will experiment with it. I think my favorite type of game to compete against somebody, like if I'm sitting side by side with someone, my favorite type of game would be a racing game, you know? I feel very comfortable racing. But in terms of playing online, I like first person shooters. I mean, I'm looking to buy like a house or a condo here shortly. So then I will have my own gaming room, maybe a workout room, nice kitchen to cook in. You know, I like to cook a little bit. I deal with the FaZe Clan. Me and the FaZe Clan have a common sponsor, that is Gambling Labs, and you know, they scratch my back, I scratch theirs. I realized fighting was gonna be my profession probably like, you know, after the first year I started fighting. You know, at first it was, you know, just something to do after college to, you know, get out and you know, work out and compete and beat up people and feel good about myself, you know. And then I realized I could make some money, so I was like, all right, if I could pay off my college loans, fighting, that'd be pretty cool, you know. And then it's like, you're pretty good, Dennis. Like, you could make a career of this. Like, all right, like I'm really good at working out. I'm pretty tough and pretty cool. Like, so why not? You know, I'm my own boss. I first started fighting in I think 2009. I was living with my mom and my grandma in Amish country, Pennsylvania, and you know, I just had this little like chip on my shoulder because my wrestling career was over, and I was playing a little semi-pro like backyard football, you know, 8-on-8 full pads, but that wasn't like feeding my need to compete, you know. So if we all won, like, all right, like, I mean, I'm not the reason we won necessarily. If we lost, like, well, I'm not the reason why we lost, you know. Whereas, you know, wrestling, you lost because you lost, or you won because you won. And that is the same thing in fighting. My very first fight, I was very nervous, you know, but the team I was working out with was Blackman MMA in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. On the very first day, I was able to beat like 90% of the guys just off of my wrestling. You know, I would ask them almost like every day, like, am I gonna do good in this fight? Like, dude, you're gonna do sick. Like, don't worry. Like, I don't know. I ended up knocking the guy out in the first round. My next door neighbor, his name is Spencer Christian. He's like this like badass Native American. Like, I remember he came up my backyard like with a turkey. Like, well, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Like, he can like fish. You know, he's the man. He's like the man of nature. He can do like anything. You know. He was the captain of the wrestling team when he wrestled. He's 7 years older than me, so I just like grew up kind of watching him and like wanted to be like him. So he showed me how to wrestle when I was younger, and then when I was able to wrestle in 7th grade, I became a BA. No, the Menace was actually given to me. I used to work at UPS, and my first fight name off my head was The Truth. Like, I'm the truth, like, beat me, and you know. But the guy I used to work with at UPS, he was like, you know, his mid-30s, and he was like, what's your fight name? I was like, The the truth. He's like, no, it's not your name. Like, all right, you know, he's just one of those guys. Anything he said just kind of made sense, and his reasoning behind everything, you know, was very clear. And he was like, I'll come back on Monday. I'll let you know what your fight name is. So I'm in my truck loading it. Yeah, I thought he was gonna have some kind of like Greek mythological name for me, and he says the Menace. And I was like, the Menace? Like, I've already thought of that. And you ever like been taking a test and the answer is so clear that and it's like too easy that you don't pick it? You know, you'll pick like that can't be it. It's just like they're setting me up for something, and that's how I felt about the Menace. It was like too easy of a name, you know. And then his reasoning behind it was because, like Dennis the Menace, he's like annoying, right? So I want to be annoying to my opponent. I want to constantly be in his face and giving him problems, right? And Dennis the Menace, anything he touches, he just kind of destroys. He's destructive. So that's another trait I would like to be having while I was in the cage. And he's a character. You know, I'm a pretty funny guy. If he was Puerto Rican, it would have been a no-brainer picking Dennis the Menace. You know, I'm Dennis the Menace Bermudez, and I am a G Fuel athlete.